Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily. Use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites, you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
Lester Miller, attorney at law. The Cottages on Wesleyan. Langford Allergy Clinic. Crosby Roofing and Seamless Gutters. Macon Boots, your store for boots in Macon. Cherokee Brick and Tile. Apparel Authority, the official clothier of DSBN Sports. BT Media Productions, btmediapro.com. You park 'em, you sell 'em. The car lot for you. And the Macon Touchdown Club. And welcome in on a Thursday night. It's another edition of Gridiron Gab. We are live at Zoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. And tonight we'll have our Pick'em contest. Of course, we'll go through the winners of last week's contest. But the thing we're going to start the show off with is a huge game tomorrow night. It's the Zoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week on DSBNsports.com, and it is going to be the 2-1 Westside Seminoles taking on the 2-1 Howard Huskies in about 3 weeks in a row now of crosstown rivalry games, and we've got another one, and we're glad to be joined right now by the head coach of the Westside Seminoles, Coach Spoons Risper. Coach, glad to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
I didn't think football would ever get here, but it finally got here.
It's here.
I got Coach Risper here. I've also got John Kosater, my sidekick at many of the games. He is with us here tonight. We'll miss him tomorrow night. He's got other duties, but he's sitting in with us now because this is going to be a big game. Coach, so before we get started here, we want to talk about a little bit about the start of the season for you. So let's go back. You opened the season probably, I mean, how big a game can you open against when you got your crosstown rival, the Southwest Patriots, the only team to ever beat Westside in the city of Macon. They did it 2 years in a row in rather unorthodox fashion, but you paid them back a little bit this year.
Yeah, we were happy to get a little bit of revenge. Coach Dupree and I, we're great friends.
Oh, sure.
And, you know, we're going to always consider him as a Seminole because he coached at Westside for some years. And,
right.
But our kids were glad that we, you know, got that monkey off of our back, so to speak. And we came out with a huge win, kind of shut them out, and I was happy that we got back on top of that rivalry.
Coach, 21-0 that night. One thing that stood out, and John was there with us that for opening night too, I believe, that night, and there were just so many penalties in that game. I think that it ended up being 35 penalties. 30. That's way too many. You had to. It drove you crazy, I know, on the sideline. Do you attribute that to one, rivalry game nerves, opening game of the season, and then just or maybe a little bit of some discipline that you anticipated your kids would be a little better at?
Right. Well, it's a little bit of both.
A combination of everything.
Yes, we didn't get an opportunity to play in the scrimmage game. It was canceled. We had a monsoon in Macon County, so we didn't even get off the bus. So we kind of had to throw them in the fire. And it was a little bit of both. We made some mistakes that we don't need to make, and it kind of interrupted the flow of the game. So when the flow is interrupted, usually you have a lot of penalties and silly mistakes. So we're trying to cut back on that.
John, go ahead.
And then I believe the second game, tell me if I'm wrong, Harris County, very good football team on the road. Big check, but you come out with an overtime win. How'd you feel after that one?
Relieved.
Yeah.
They were tough. The big running back that they had, he was one of the best in the state. I think he rushed for like 1,700 yards and over 20 touchdowns the year before. So we kind of bottled him up, but they got some momentum at the end, and they scored a couple of touchdowns on us and took us to overtime, and it was 4th and 1, and we were down by 3. And I didn't want to go a second overtime, so I asked the guys, could we get a yard? It was 4th and goal, and they told me, they assured me that we could get a yard, and we got the yard for the win.
So that's good stuff early in the football season. You're being tested like every week, and then once again you have to travel to Perry. Game didn't come out like you wanted it to, and a tough loss. But how do you feel like your kids did with the adversity they faced in that game?
I think they did very well. We knew that, Perry was going to be very emotional. First game, regular season game on the turf. They took a lot of pride in, the renovations and the new field, the new turf, and that type of stuff. And we didn't start fast. We made some mistakes, and we got down 21-7, and it was 21-7 towards the end of the third quarter. So, but they revved up, and we tied it up, and we muffed a punt late in the game, and they scored, but had opportunities to win the game, but it just didn't fall our way.
Coach, coming back, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, I want to dig in a little bit into the numbers you've done on the offensive side of the football, talk a little bit about what you've seen on the defensive side of the ball. I know you've got to be pleased with some of your offensive numbers. Others, you're looking for more production. We'll talk about that when we come back. All right, our guest is Coach Risper, Coach Spoons from West Side. The big game tomorrow night on the Zoners Pizza Game of the Week, live from the Ed at 7:15 will be our pregame show. Kickoff is at 7:30. It's the Seminoles and the Huskies. We'll be joined later in the show by Coach Paul Carroll of the Howard Huskies as well. So we're going to take a quick break, and John and I will be right back, and we'll talk more about this upcoming game Friday night. We'll be back after this.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily. Use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites, you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
To be the best, you need the best in hydration and nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport IV Nutrition.
And welcome back on a Thursday night. We're live at Zoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. We'd love for you to come by and join us tonight, have some pizzas and wings, or their famous Herschel Walker chicken and waffles. And we're going to talk about Herschel's affiliation with the company a little later and some opportunities for you this year. We're also going to talk about our college pick'em contest that's coming up. Remember last week we had a doubleheader. It was Notre Dame and Michigan and Auburn and Washington. Now we had an outright winner on Auburn and Washington, believe it or not, a damn Alabama guy. But we had a three-way tie for Michigan and Notre Dame. We had three guys that got that score exactly right at 24-17. That was Brett Barron, Mike Parker, and Ed Rocker, all from right here in Macon. And we're going to put their name in the hat in a little bit, and we're going to draw for this week's prizes, and we're going to get to the prizes and all that in just a little bit. But right now, I'm joined by John Kosader and the head coach of the Westside Seminoles. We call him Spoons Risper. That's what he wants to be called about. We've talked about the season to start with Coach Risper, and now we're going to dig in a little bit to what he's done offensively and defensively. But before we go any further, tell everybody where Spoons comes from. You can give us the condensed version.
Okay, my ninth grade year, I was 5'2", and I weighed 95 pounds, and I was the starting JV quarterback. So on game day, in my game day uniform, back then we didn't have low profile, the little tiny pads. Everything was big.
Right, yeah.
So I had the little skinny legs like I still do, big shoulder pads, and a big helmet, so it looked like a spoon. So when the JV ran out, all the varsity guys were like, hey, Spoon, he looks like a spoon. And it stuck.
And it stuck.
It stuck.
Well, it's a term of endearment now. So.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So let's talk about offensive production. First of all, let's talk a little bit about your quarterback, Victor Dixon. He's 50 of 96 for 612 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an INT this year. Talk a little bit about his maturity. He's been with you a couple of years now.
He's grown up a lot. He's making a lot better decisions. He's a year older. People don't understand that, in high school football, 1 year makes a big difference.
Sure.
And he's throwing the ball
Now he's a junior this year.
He's a junior.
Junior, that's
he
right.
He started as a sophomore, and he's grown up making great decisions. He's a leader. The kids follow him. He got hurt up a little bit last game, but he sucked it up and told the guys, hey, let's go and make a run, try to win this game. And the kids' respect level just went up like 10 notches last week. Yeah, he's already a great kid and a great teammate. So he's doing well for us right now.
All right, then we can't go. I know you're throwing the football all over the place, already 600 yards. But Tyshawn Freeman, your running back. I think the program says he's 5'11", 6 foot. He looks 6'2", and about 253. Yeah. And I'll never forget against Southwest, I watched him carry probably two of their biggest linemen holding on to his jersey, and he looked like the ski nautique, and they looked like the skiers behind him because he pulled them big old boys about 7 or 8 yards. Yeah. He is a lot of fun to watch, and not just because of his size, and I'm not picking on him about that, but because I love watching this big kid run. He looks like Jerome Bettis to me.
Right.
He's big, he's fast, he's strong, he's low to the ground, and he's always falling forward. Talk a little bit about what he's meant to your club in the backfield. And I know you throw it a little more maybe than you rush it, but boy, he can really help with a balanced attack.
Yes, he opens up the pass game. You've got to stop him. No matter what play you call, he's going to get you at least 3 or 4.
Right.
But he's such a good kid, and he's in such good shape to be that big. I mean, I think the first game we gave it to him maybe 31 times, and the Harris County game nearly 25 times. Wow. So he's got he has something that I hadn't had at Westside. I hadn't had a big back that I could just feed, and that's a luxury to have. So we're just glad that we have a big kid like him who's in great shape and who's a team player. You know, he's not all about him. He's about his team, and whatever that we need him to do, he'll do it. Whether it's block or run, he does that.
Yeah, and that's kind of weird on those defenses. I'm telling you, he gets to the second level, and it's like everybody in the nickel package is kind of turning and moving. Yeah. They're moving away a little bit with Tyshawn coming to you. John, go ahead.
And I know you like to throw the football. You've liked to throw the football since you were a little 8th grade quarterback probably. And you're able to do it. You have a veteran wide receiver core, Jalen Barden. I think he's a junior. Mm-hmm. I remember seeing him as a sophomore. Very explosive kids, but he's really not the only one you have back there to catch passes, is he?
No, we have Landon Emery, who's very explosive, and my son Scooter Risper, who are all three are great route runners. They're probably, as a whole, the smallest receiving core that we've had at Westside. So they're like coaches on the field, too. Those kids are very intelligent. They know the game. They've been starting since they were like sophomores. So they know what I'm thinking. They catch the football well, and they block for their teammates. So, and on contrary, I like to run the ball more than I like to throw, because when you get in the playoffs, you have to run the ball. So I'm just glad we got Tyshawn who's running the ball.
Well, as the great guy with a houndstooth hat from that other school in northern Alabama said, his name, who shall not be mentioned, 3 things happen when you throw the football, and 2 of them are bad.
Yeah.
And but it, like you said, I think it especially when you start getting in the playoff, that balanced attack.
Yes.
It always seems to work out for the
Yes.
teams that are a little more balanced than the team that becomes one-dimensional. And I think a little bit, Coach, you may agree with this. Once you start getting into the levels of the playoff and the region play, those defenses get better.
Oh yeah.
And it, they're always going to try to turn you one-dimensional, and you don't want to give them any help.
Right.
Now, let's go to the other side of the ball, your defensive team. Giving up only 18 points a game so far. That's pretty good numbers in high school football even now, because the teams are more prolific on offense.
Right.
Talk a little bit about what you got on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, we have an experienced secondary that's back, that's led by Nate Brookins and a couple of corners that we have that have plenty of playing time experience from last year. So on the back end, we're pretty decent, and but our front 4 helps us out a lot. They play hard. My defense coordinator tries to do a lot of things as far as keeping them moving in different directions, different types of stunts to keep you off balance. So they've been doing a good job of flying to the football, 11 people around the ball.
Coach, your opinion's always been in mine. I think secondary is the hardest thing to coach in football. You agree with that? You think that's probably the hardest thing to coach?
Yeah, because you're guarding a guy who knows where he's going, and you're running backwards, and you don't know where he's going. So, yeah, the secondary is the hardest thing, I think, hardest position to play in football.
All right, when we come back, we're going to take a quick break. We're talking to Coach Risper from Westside. We'll come back, and we're going to get his thoughts on the game tomorrow night. We'll be back after this short timeout.
How do you say, my attorney met with me personally?
Thanks, Lester.
Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, I got the compensation I deserve?
Thanks, Lester.
Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, I won my court case?
Thanks, Lester. 谢谢 Lester.
Thanks, Lester. You're a good man.
I am Lester Miller, and I will get you the compensation you deserve.
Thanks, Lester.
He ain't afraid of no one.
Hello, I'm Joy Johnson at the Cottages on Westland, inviting you to come see our spacious assisted living suites. Each suite has its own kitchenette, private bathroom, separate bedroom, and living space. We provide meals, housekeeping and laundry services, personal care assistance, and a variety of daily activities. Come by and visit us soon. You'll see why our residents feel at home and why families trust their loved ones to us at the Cottages on Westland.
And welcome back to Zoner's Pizza for our coaches show tonight. I'm John Cosader along with Russell Deason. We're with Spoon Risper tonight. And now we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming up this Friday night. A huge game with the Howard Huskies. Coach, when you see them on film, what kind of football team do you see?
A very good football team. Coach Hester, Barney Hester, he got the program moving in the right direction, and they've had some good, really good seasons. And Paul Carra has taken what Barney has started, and they're really taking off with it. So, you know, they're a very, very, very good football team. They're very fast. They're physical, and they can beat you on any. They're one of the better teams in Middle Georgia right now.
So they've never beat you before. How hungry this year do you think they'll be? You know, they're kind of feeling good about themselves. They've had a good start to the season. What do you think the atmosphere for that game is going to be on Friday?
Are you trying to jinx us? It's going to be wonderful to see public schools a football game packed, you know, the stadium packed, excitement, a whole bunch of school pride. And our public schools here in Macon, Bibb County, this is what they need. This is wonderful. You know, they're sitting at 2-1. We're at 2-1, and something's got to give. And we respect their program a lot. You know, I've turned on the tape. I've stayed up late all week. This week, kind of stressing about it, but we know that they're a good football team, and it should make for a good football game.
Coach, they got 4 guys in the backfield, and Quentin Sewell, Jeremiah Kelly, Javarzia Meadows, and then Jarquavius Coleman.
And they all scare me.
And they all can run. They're averaging 8.7 yards a carry.
Yes.
They've already rushed for over 1,000 yards. 2 of their backs are over 300 yards already for the year. What do you got to do up front to put a stop there? They're going to run that wing T formation. So it's going to be coming kind of straight at you. Not a little misdirection, but not a lot. What do you got to do defensively on that side of the ball to slow that down?
You've got to be disciplined. It only takes one guy against the wing T to get out of position, and there you have it. You can get a 30, 40, 50-yard game with ease.
Right.
So you have to play disciplined football because the wing T is a lot of smoke and mirrors, you know, a lot of motion, a lot of deceptions, faking this way, going back the other way. So you have to be disciplined. And so we've tried to preach to our kids all week, be disciplined and do your job.
Yeah, stay on your reads and stay in your lane.
Yes.
Because like you said, you make one misstep and you've got your back turned and he's gone by you.
Yes.
It's going to be one great atmosphere tomorrow night at Ed DeForest Stadium. You've talked about what you got to do defensively. Let's talk about a little bit of what you expect your team to do offensively tomorrow night. What do you want to do in the game? They're going to try to slow the game down, grind it out. do you want to pick up the pace a little bit in this game?
Well, the main thing is we gotta stay in front of the chains. You got to get first downs. You can't go 3 and out and punt the ball, and because they're going to do what they do, and they're very good at it. So we just want to try to get first downs and continue to, to not make mistakes. That's the main thing. You cannot make mistakes against a good football team, and they're a good football team. So if we make a lot of mistakes, it's going to be a long night.
Well, Coach, we're excited about it, looking forward to it being there tomorrow. John, any final thoughts you've got on this thing with Coach Spoons here?
Should be a great game. We wish you luck. Stay out of that penalty thing, and who knows what can happen, but good luck tomorrow night.
I appreciate you.
Well, Coach, I'm not going to let you get out of here a little bit before I let you brag, number one, about your coaching staff, and then talk a little bit about your school for them.
Well, we have some guys that work really hard. I've added some new coaches, some younger guys, because I got hired 20 years ago at Westside, so I'm not a baby anymore.
Right.
So, we got some youth who are very energetic.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you got to have youth. I was 23 years old when Robert Davis hired me at Westside, and he saw something in me. He saw the energy that I had. So now that I'm older, I see that type of stuff, and we're just trying to keep that school pride of our football program. The kids at our school love our football program, so we're just trying to give them something to keep loving. Putting a product every Friday night on the field that they'll enjoy seeing.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow night live from the Ed DePorter Sports Complex. Pregame will be at 7:15. Kickoff will be at 7:30 for the Zoners Pizza Game of the Week, and it's going to be a fantastic one between Coach Spoon's Westside Seminoles and Coach Carroll's Howard Huskies. We're going to have Coach Carroll here in a little bit to join us and go get his thoughts about what he's got to face tomorrow night with you.
He's a great guy.
Really,
coach.
Coach, just best of luck tomorrow night. Thanks for being a part of what we're doing and all the years you've supported us. And we're going to look forward to it tomorrow night. Coach Risper and the Westside Seminoles, we'll see him tomorrow night. Guys, hang around a minute. We'll be back, and we'll talk a little bit about last week with college football while we're waiting for Coach Carroll to get back. Coach, good luck tomorrow night. We'll see you then.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, we'll be back after this timeout.
Wheezing, itching, runny nose, and coughing. All these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We want to be your Middle Georgia allergy team.
Crosby Roofing is more than just a roofing company. It's a family-owned company with deep roots in Middle Georgia. So when the time comes for repairs or a new roof, you can trust your family's home to our family's commitment to quality. Quality you can look up to. Crosby Roofing.
It isn't said enough, but America is the greatest country on earth. We at Macon Boots know that without hardworking people like you, we wouldn't have any of this. Thank you for all the sacrifices that you make. You are proud of your job, your work, and yourself. You should also be proud of the boots you wear. We have all of your favorite brands at the best prices you will find in Middle Georgia. Macon Boots wants to serve you. Come see us at 3182 Vineville Avenue across from AutoZone. Like us on Facebook. Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
Do you want to win? Do you want to crush the competition? Do you really want it? To be the best, you need the best in nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport. VitaFuse Sport provides IV hydration, vitamins, minerals, and amino acids for serious athletes. Our infusions are nearly 100% absorbed compared to only 20% of oral supplements. So whether you are trying to win a championship, set a new personal best, or just want to perform better and recover faster, VitaFuse Sport was developed for you.
I'm Lester Miller, and if you've been in an accident or hurt on the job, I want to work for you. My office is right across the street from the Bibb County Courthouse, and it doesn't end there. Middle Georgia is my home. I graduated from high school here, college, and Mercer Law School. My family goes to church here, my kids go to school here. I work hard for my community, and when you need an attorney, I will personally take your call.
Thanks, Lester.
And I will work hard for you too.
Contact Lester Miller today for your free consultation.
itching, runny nose, and coughing. All these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We've teamed with Mercer, and we'd be happy to team with you. Go Bears!
You can tell everything you need to know about a man by the boots he wears. They tell his story. They let you know he works hard and plays hard. Macon Boots at 3182 Vineville Avenue carries Georgia Boot, Redback, Rocky, Durango, and more. From safety toe, chemical proof, waterproof, and snake proof to hunting, casual, and western, Macon Boots delivers only the highest quality in boots, belts, wallets, and hats to help tell any man's story. Open Monday through Saturday from 9 to 6. Follow Macon Boots on Facebook and at maconboots.com. Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily. Use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven and in between bites, you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
And welcome back on a Thursday night. We are live from Zoner's Pizza. We just got through with Coach Spoons Risper from the Westside Seminoles. And now, along with John Kosader, we're going to take a minute and we're going to welcome in the head coach of the Howard Huskies, Paul Carroll. Coach, good evening, and thanks for stopping by tonight.
I thank y'all for having me. I'm sorry I'm a little sweaty and nasty right now. I just got off the football field, and I apologize.
Well, right now, that's called this is your time of year, as they say.
It is, nonstop.
All right, Coach, we're going to start with you just like we did with Coach Spoons. Before we get started now, you're the new head coach, first year. You've been on staff over there with former head coach Barney Hester. You took over the reins this year. So, number one, let's talk about what it's like to step into that position. You've been coaching a long time, obviously. But what changes between those coordinator duties and assistant coaches in the past and you walk into being a head coach this year?
I tell you, there's a lot of things that change, to be honest with you. The biggest thing is probably dealing with everything with the program. You know, you're talking about dealing with the parents, you're talking about raising money, you're talking about dealing even with the water girls.
Right. Sure.
You know, I mean, there's several things.
Administration.
Exactly. And, you know, luckily we've got a great administration that supports us athletic-wise, and those are the main things. You know, I've actually have been able to learn under some great coaches who have done some good things with programs, and I'm just kind of taking, like I said before, piece by piece from each coach and kind of done it my way a little bit.
Okay, before coming to Howard, talk a little bit about where you were at before in your other coaching duties through the years. Where all of you hung your hat at through the years?
Well, I tell you, there's several places.
Right.
You know, the very first year, in 1997, I started coaching. I was with Charles Winslet at Tifton. We actually made it to the state championship that year, got beat by Parkview. After that, I left and went to Thomas County Central with Coach Ed Pilcher down there, and actually they had won 5 state championships in a row. I left there and went to Griffin. Was there for 2 years at Griffin under DeVorsney, who's the head coach at K-Row. And then all of a sudden, home started calling me, and home was Columbus, Georgia for me. And I ended up going back and helped Coach Jones, Dwight Jones, start the program at Northside of Columbus. Right. And really enjoyed it. That was a pretty good experience as far as going in and building your own program. We played 2 years of JV football. And then the next year, after the third year, we played varsity, and actually we ended up going 10-2, and had a chance to get to the second round of playoffs. And actually, that's when Peach County had the receiver and Hinton and all those guys.
Antonio Hinton, right?
Yes, sir, and they won the state that year. And then after that, I stayed with Coach Jones over here at Jones County, and then ended up at Warner Robins for about 8 to 9 years with Coach Way. So, you know, like I said, I've been around in a lot of different places. I've seen a lot of different ways to win, and also I've seen a lot of different ways not to do it too. You know,
there's a lot of ways to win and lose.
There is. There's 100 ways to skin a cat, and you know, it's just you've got to just be yourself, and that's something that I'm gonna do, and you know, that's what I'm trying to do right now at my program. You know, like I told everybody before, I've got some big shoes to fill, and I'm not going to be able to fill those shoes. I've got to go to a different shoe store and find the shoes that fit me.
Sure.
And that's what we're doing right now.
Coach, obviously, you've coached with a lot of good head coaches, and getting your first chance to be a head coach here at Howard. Coach Hester didn't really leave you high and dry, did he? He left you with a little bit of talent over there, didn't he?
He did. He actually did. We've got some guys on offense that can make some plays, and we got some guys on defense also.
Talking about offense, rushing this year, over 1,000 yards already, 8.7 yards a carry, averaging 348 yards a game, already 12 touchdowns on the ground. Passing this year, 250 yards with a 15.8 per reception out of your quarterback. Offense coming in 432 yards a game. That's pretty good production to start the year out, Coach.
Well, no doubt. And, you know, the big thing is you know, we've got a new offense coordinator, Coach Hamner, who's been around football, has been around a lot of different places. He's actually our strength coach also. And I'm old school. I'm old school wing T, and that's what we run. And I believe in, you know, getting this in a phone booth, and you know, we've got to come off the ball up front, and we got some big linemen that can do that, and you know, it's just really kind of old school football, and everybody's kind of getting away from that, and they want to spread it out and do this and do that, and I'm not that type of person. And I think our offense coordinator, he's not that type of person either.
Well, you know, Coach, it's we're going to talk here in a second about that really great backfield that you got with your quarterback and your three backs,
Right.
but none of that happens without those two tackles, guard and center, and tight end up front, doesn't
No doubt. We've got some guys up front that played a lot of football for us last year. You know, Hayden Crosby, Braxton Wise, Aaron Kurtz. You know, those guys are really the core of the offensive line. And, you know, they're back this year, and they understand what we're trying to do. They understand that we're trying to play old school football. They understand that we want them to come off the ball and hit somebody in the mouth, literally.
Right.
And
Sure.
And they're doing that, and you know, that's what gets those running backs in open space, and that's why we're successful right now.
So let's jump into this great backfield you got there. Quentin Sewell at quarterback, Jeremiah Kelly at one wing. You've got Meadows on the other, and Coleman in the middle. Talk about those guys. I mean, all these guys. You got all of them over, two of them over 300 yards already, and
Right.
just the kind of production you want from your running backs. Talk about what this backfield's done for you.
I
this
tell
year.
you, you know, the thing about the wing T is you know, really the quarterback's supposed to be the one just handing the ball off all the time.
Right.
Well, the big thing in our wing T is the quarterback runs the ball quite a bit too. And, you know, Quentin has been a dual threat for us. He can throw the football, he can run the football, and the biggest thing is his grit. He's wanting to get that first down every single time. He wants to fall forward. Not one person is going to be able to tackle him, and that's his mindset, and that's what we got to have in a quarterback.
And another good thing about him, I know Jeremiah is a junior, and Quentin is
he's a senior.
Quentin is a senior, so you lose Quentin last year. And Quentin gained so much experience last year from getting in the playoffs that first time and getting over that hump that it's like this year he's just playing even with that extra little grit and motivation.
He is, and I tell you, you know, when I first got the job, really didn't know if he really wanted to play football. And, you know, we had to sit down and talk about it, and I think actually he ended up coming back and saying, Coach, you know, I really want to play, and this is what I want to do. So he really buckled down and ended up getting his grades and picked his grades up. And you know, he's going to have an opportunity possibly to play somewhere else, you know, after high school. You know, but as far as maturing and just, you know, he's matured so much this year, and he's become a leader on our team. And you know, he's one of those guys that he don't want to lose. He don't want to lose at all.
And you lose Jeremiah early last week. I think he had an ankle injury or something. And the Meadows kid comes in and gives you the same numbers that Jeremiah gives you. Was that a surprise at all?
Not really. I tell you, Javarce Meadows is a young kid. Actually played receiver for us last year. And, you know, he got the ball in his hands a little bit, but you know, we knew going to the wing tee that we was going to be able to get the ball in his hands quite a bit. And you know, when Jeremiah went down, he stepped up and answered the bell. And you know, he's one of those guys that can go the distance at any given time.
Javarzia Meadows, 13 rushes, 237 yards, 3 or 4 touchdowns last week. Three. Co-back of the week, by the way, for the Macon Touchdown Club for this past week. All right, let's jump to the defensive side of the ball. I want to specifically talk about 5 guys, one guy in particular from last week, but your linebacker crew of Shelton, Jones, Edwards, and Grimsley. Boy, those guys have been really, really good this year going to the football.
They have, and you know, that's something that, you know, you've got some guys that had a lot of snaps last year.
Right.
And they all played the same position except DeAndre. We have moved DeAndre down a little bit to defensive end. You know, those guys are understanding the game and understanding the game on defense, because I'm a defensive-minded guy. Is the biggest thing is you just got to play hard. I mean, you've got to run to the football, and that's something that we take pride on the defensive side. Is no loafs. No loafs. It don't matter if you get knocked down. It don't matter. You can take the wrong step. You can maybe, you know, run the wrong blitz, but you're going to get your butt to the football.
All right, so one guy in particular I want to talk about last week. He had a great game, Lorenzo Hargrove. He was our DSBN player of the game in the game last week against Central. He had a really outstanding game. It seemed like every other play we were calling his name on a tackle last week.
I tell you.
I don't know how it went out statistically when you looked at the film, but he was all over the field last week in our opinion.
Lorenzo is actually one of those guys who played corner for us last year and really would like to leave him at corner. Because, you know, he's a tall guy that really can break on the ball, and if they've got big receivers, he's physical enough to man up with them. You know, we lost our free safety actually last year, so we had to work Hargrove at free, and he's our best free right now. So he's doing an outstanding job. The main thing is he's a smart football player. He's the guy that gets out on the field, and he's able to make all the checks. He's able to also, you know, get everybody lined up.
And I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the other threat of your offense. Coach, when Roddenroth came to you and said, Coach, I want to kick for you, or did you go looking for a kicker and that's what came up?
Well,
how did that work out?
I tell you, actually, this is –
and he's talking about Elizabeth Rodenroth.
Exactly.
Who is the place kicker. I think she's 13 or 15, or I'm not for sure. Ben might could tell us out here.
13 or 15.
Yeah, she's missed 2. And
really because of bad snaps.
Bad snaps are the only 2 extra points she's missed.
Correct.
And she also has been a Macon Touchdown Club Special Teams Player of the Week. But I just want to tell everybody who we were talking about, in case they didn't know, the first female starter, as far as we know in Bibb County history, and the first female football player to ever score a point in Bibb County. So I'll let you go with that story.
Actually, the story is a pretty good story. We, you know, once I got the job, I know we was having Cody Burrell, who was our kicker last year. He was graduating, and we were looking for a kicker. So actually I invited about 4 or 5 soccer players to come out and try to kick. And it just really didn't work out for some of them. So you know, I just had a feeling that, you know, there might be somebody here at the school, because I know our girls soccer team, they actually made the playoffs last year, and we had a couple girls that actually kicked the ball. So I talked to Cody also about it, and Cody said, well, you know, Coach, I think we might have a couple girls that really could kick the ball. So I had one of the young ladies that was in my health class. I talked to her about it. I said, you know, come out and try. Just see what you think. She said, well, Coach, I might have somebody else that might can come out and try for you. Well, kind of on her own, she decided to go out and kick one day on the field by herself with Cody. And Coach Coleman, who's our girls basketball coach, was walking the track that day and looked over, and all of a sudden I got a phone call, and she said, "Coach, you need to see this girl kicking." And so I told her, "Hey, you need to come back the next day and let me see you kick." And first kick, I said, "You're hired. Let's go."
That's it. All right, when we come back, we're going to get into tomorrow's night games with Coach Carroll. You're listening to Gridiron Gab. We're live at Stoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. We'd love to have you come by. Don't forget, we'll get into college football here in just a little bit. We'll be back after this time out.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches. We put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority, now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
Is your house having a midlife crisis? Maybe it's time for a nip and tuck. Cherokee Brick has been transforming interiors and exteriors for over 100 years. Where you see a blank wall or old porch, we see potential. Add warmth and elegance to your home with an updated entryway, porch, or kitchen. At Cherokee Brick, we cut out the middleman and provide a robust selection of colors and sizes to fit your brick needs. Visit us online to find out more about where you can purchase Cherokee Brick, straight from the manufacturer.
The most interesting man in seafood is Captain Lee of Kudzu Seafood Company. Captain Lee brought the Gulf Coast to Middle Georgia without getting any sand in his Speedo. At Kudzu Seafood Company, Captain Lee's oysters shuck themselves out of respect for him, throwing themselves as tribute into hot oil until golden brown. Served as a Kudzu po' boy, their final resting place being a casket of French bread flown in from Louisiana's famous Gambinos. Captain Lee uses his signature remoulade sauce to actually sign his name on each po' boy, a signature of his approval. Sit back and relax while enjoying a cold craft beer at Kudzu Seafood Company, located at 473rd Street in Macon. Stay coastal, my friends.
Welcome back on a Thursday night. We're live from Zoner's Pizza here on Forsyth Road. We'd love for you to come by and have some pizza and wings, or even try Herschel Walker's mom's famous chicken and waffles, and they are good. So we've got a lot to talk about. We got going to get to the pick'em contest in a little bit, but right now, I, along with my partner John Cosater and Coach Paul Carroll of the Howard Huskies. Coach, well, let's get into it tomorrow night. Let's start on the offensive side of the ball. What have you got to do? First of all, what do you look at when you see this West Side football team?
They're a great football team. I mean, they're big up front. They're fast on both sides of the football, and they're well coached. I think after watching all the films that we have on them, it's going to be a tough task. I mean, and we're treating every game like it's the next, and this is the next one, and it's going to be a battle between two good football teams.
Offensively, we've seen what you've done so far this year. This is a big game for you. We ain't got into region play yet.
Right.
But everything matters, and this is a 2-1 football team that's lost its only game by 3 points, I think,
right.
And that was late down in Perry, which is a good football team they got beat by last week.
Correct.
What do you want your offense to do tomorrow, coming out established in the first half of this game? What do you want to see from them against this West Side defense?
Well, the biggest thing is, and I'm telling the kids, talk to them all week long, what we've got to do is win the individual battles. And that's what it's going to come down to all night long. And when we talk about individual battles is, there's going to be one time that we're not going to be able to block everybody. You're going to have one guy that's going to be open to make the tackle. And our backs can't be tackled by one guy.
Right.
And, that's something that we're stressing all week long. It's going to have to take a gang tackle, and we got to secure the football. We got to make sure we really secure the football and do what we do. We're going to run the wing tee. We're not going to do anything different. I believe in 4 plays, and let's perfect those 4 plays. And if you perfect those 4 plays, that cuts down mistakes. If you keep going and keep going and keep going and doing it right, well, all they know is doing it right instead of doing it wrong.
Right. John.
So defensively, you're playing against a team that's they can pass and they can throw pretty well, and they can run pretty much equally well. They have a big old running back, probably as big as most of your defensive linemen. What are the keys to stopping that offense a little bit?
Well, the biggest thing is we got to swarm the football. I mean, we've got a gang tackle. You know, number 15 for them. He's a good running back. You know, one thing that we've noticed that we've got to stop him before he gets started, and it's very difficult to do that because they've got a big offensive line also that can push you around, and we've got to make sure up front that we do what we're supposed to do. We hold our gaps, we take our responsibilities, and then play football and run to the football and gang tackle number 15 and you know they've got guys on the outside that can stretch you vertically, and they've got a good quarterback. You know, he's got probably one of the strongest arms that I've seen so far in past couple of years now. He's got a strong arm. I mean, you can throw a 20-yard out on a dime every single time just about. That's pretty dang good, and he throws it to the field a lot. And you know, it's going to be a big challenge for us defensively. And what we've got to do is we've got to, you know, hold them to field goals. You know, if they drive the ball, don't give up the big one, hold them to field goals. And that's kind of how football has gotten into now defensively. And it don't matter. You know, I think there's probably one team in the state of Georgia that's really playing lights-out defense. And if you look at it, that's probably Lee County.
Right, sure.
You know?
Yeah, and they got 61 prospects
Correct.
on that side of the ball.
Correct. And, you know, you can't hit them, you know, you can't hit them hard enough nowadays. You can't really tackle the way you're supposed to tackle. You can't really practice the way you're supposed to practice, the way it used to be done. But, you know, it's you got to be able to play in space. And we've got to make sure that our guys are ready to play in space.
Tomorrow night, and just a question off the top of my head, what's the biggest thing you think you want to avoid tomorrow night with your football team up against Westside?
Well, it's got to be turnovers. Right. You know, that we got to protect the ball, and you know, and I think that's every time we go into a game, it's all about protecting the football. And you know, we've got to you know, just don't turn it over. You know, we've got to make sure we get first downs, and on defense, we need to go 3 and out. You know, we need to put them in a situation where we have a chance to block a punt or return a punt, or at any time we need to take the ball away also on defense.
All right, Coach, it's going to be a big game tomorrow night. The Howard Huskies against the Westside Seminoles. Pregame starts at 7:15. We'll go on there for the kickoff at 7:30. All right, Coach, I'm going to let you get out of here. We're going to put you in the pick'em contest this week.
All right, sounds good.
Your thoughts of about this Georgia and South Carolina game. I'm telling everybody, it's my upset alert game of the weekend. Muschamp and his crew got a chance against the Dogs?
I don't think so. I really don't. And actually, I'm a Bama fan. But I will say this.
Here we go.
I've been a Roll Tide fan for a long time.
I can't get away from you guys. I don't know what. War Eagle. But go ahead.
Oh, my goodness. I'll say this. It all comes down to who's going to play defense. And that's what it's coming down to now. Sure. And I'm looking at college football. It's about who protects the ball and who plays defense and who can run the football.
Yeah, and you made a point talking about even at the high school level now. Listen, Alabama gets in games against good football teams. Their defense is giving up 300, 350 yards.
Right.
You know, and I understand that, you know, it's bend, don't break, don't let them in the end zone, make them kick field goals. But the days of holding somebody to 120 yards of offense, that's pretty much gone now.
It is.
Anybody in the college landscape you saw last weekend besides that North Alabama thing that impressed you opening weekend of college football? I thought the entire SEC West looked pretty dang good last week.
I tell you, LSU impressed me.
Yeah.
You know, I thought LSU they ran the football. They've got some good fullbacks in there that are kind of old school.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, one of them played at Lee County actually last year, and his dad played at Georgia Southern when I was there, basically. Mm-hmm. And he's old school, gonna come out and hit you in the mouth, and
that's always kind of been a benchmark of LSU's football team.
Doubt.
A little bit. I mean, they've always. I said for years, all those years that Les Miles was there, the difference between the Alabama football teams and Les Miles' LSU teams was only one position, the quarterback.
No doubt.
Because the talent was there everywhere else. But
I think defensively, though, you look at Virginia Tech. I mean, Virginia Tech, he's such a great defensive coordinator. And they play so hard for him and the head coach, and he does an unbelievable job.
I talked to a lot of people about that game. I was surprised. Maybe it was just my perception of how the game went and everything with Virginia Tech and Florida State. I'm just telling you, to me, Virginia Tech looked bigger, stronger, and faster than Florida State did. I mean, that was just the impression I got, and that shocked me a little bit.
Right.
But I'll tell you who else believes in LSU now. Kirk Herbstreit.
Does he really?
Yeah. He said they didn't belong in the top 25 when he was doing his pregame talk, but I bet he believes now.
What are they, 11 right now?
Yeah, they made a huge jump. I don't know
11
who it
or
was.
12, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
But Georgia and South Carolina is probably the biggest game. In my opinion, Georgia should win the football game. They played them really well up in Athens last year.
Right.
And if they could have gotten Georgia off third down a few times, that game might have been even a little closer than the 10-point game it was. But I'm still sticking with it. I think A&M's going to give Clemson all they want Saturday night in College Station.
I haven't been able to watch either one of those, and I really don't know too much about that game.
Well, we know Clemson's probably got the best defense in the country, or
Right.
they're touted to. And I know that's hard for an Alabama guy to swallow now.
No doubt. No doubt.
Tua, no question. What happens to Jalen Hurts? And you're an Alabama fan. You don't want to talk about that? You're a coach, too.
I'll be like Coach Saban. Why'd you ask me that?
I'm not going to say nothing to disrespect him. All right, Coach, good luck tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. Great start to the season, and we're looking forward to having you back on the network tomorrow night.
Good.
And it's going to be fun, and thank you for coming tonight.
Thank
really
you very
appreciate
much.
it. All right, Coach Paul Carroll of the Howard Huskies. We'll see them in action tomorrow night on the Zoners Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We're going to talk college football. We're going to talk pick'em contest. We're going to talk last week's winners. We'll be back after this.
Oh my, what a pizza pie. Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily. Use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites, you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie. Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
To be the best, you need the best in hydration and nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport IV Nutrition.
How do you say, my attorney met with me personally?
Thanks, Lester.
Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, I got the compensation I deserve?
Thanks, Lester. Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, I won my court case?
Thanks, Lester.
谢谢 Lester.
Thanks, Lester. You're a good man.
I am Lester Miller, and I will get you the compensation you deserve.
Thanks, Lester.
He ain't afraid of no one.
Hello, I'm Joy Johnson at the Cottages on Westland, inviting you to come see our spacious assisted living suites. Each suite has its own kitchenette, private bathroom, separate bedroom, and living space. We provide meals, housekeeping and laundry services, personal care assistance, and a variety of daily activities. Come by and visit us soon. You'll see why our residents feel at home and why families trust their loved ones to us at the Cottages on Westland.
Wheezing, itching, runny nose, and coughing. All these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We want to be your Middle Georgia allergy team.
Macon Boots is the newest addition to Midtown Macon. With brands like Rocky, Ariete, Georgia Boots, and more, Macon Boots can help you find the boots you're looking for with unbeatable prices. Whether it's boots for work, everyday wear, or maybe boots are just your thing, we have a whole selection from America, Canada, and Australia. While you're here, make sure to check out our authentic belt buckles, handmade knives, genuine leather wallets, and much more that you can only find at Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
Crosby Roofing is more than just a roofing company. It's a family-owned company with deep roots in Middle Georgia. So when the time comes for repairs or a new roof, you can trust your family's home to our family's commitment to quality. Quality you can look up to. Crosby Roofing.
Do you want to win? Do you want to crush the competition? Do you really want it? To be the best, you need the best in nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport. VitaFuse Sport provides IV hydration, vitamins, minerals, and amino acids for serious athletes. Our infusions are nearly 100% absorbed compared to only 20% of oral supplements. So whether you are trying to win a championship, set a new personal best, or just want to perform better and recover faster, VitaFuse Sport was developed for you.
I am Lester Miller, and if you've been in an accident or hurt on the job, I want to work for you. My office is right across the street from the Bibb County Courthouse, and it doesn't end there. Middle Georgia is my home. I graduated from high school here, college, and Mercer Law School. My family goes to church here, my kids go to school here. I work hard for my community, and when you need an attorney, I will personally take your call.
Thanks, Lester.
And I will work hard for you too.
Contact Lester Miller today for your free consultation.
Wheezing, itching, runny nose and coughing, all these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We've teamed with Mercer, and we'd be happy to team with you. Go Bears!
You can tell everything you need to know about a man by the boots he wears. They tell his story. They let you know he works hard and plays hard. Macon Boots at 3182 Vineville Avenue carries Georgia Boot, Redback, Rocky, Durango, and more. From safety toe, chemical proof, waterproof, and snake proof to hunting, casual, and western, Macon Boots delivers only the highest quality in boots, belts, wallets, and hats to help tell any man's story. Open Monday through Saturday from 9 to 6. Follow Macon Boots on Facebook and at maconboots.com. Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches, we put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority, now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
Is your house having a midlife crisis? Maybe it's time for a nip and tuck. Cherokee Brick has been transforming interiors and exteriors for over 100 years. Where you see a blank wall or old porch, we see potential. Add warmth and elegance to your home with an updated entryway, porch, or kitchen. At Cherokee Brick, we cut out the middleman and provide a robust selection of colors and sizes to fit your brick needs. Visit us online to find out more about where you can purchase Cherokee Brick, straight from the manufacturer.
The most interesting man in seafood is Captain Lee of Kudzu Seafood Company. Captain Lee brought the Gulf Coast to Middle Georgia without getting any sand in his Speedo. At Kudzu Seafood Company, Captain Lee's oysters shuck themselves out of respect for him, throwing themselves as tribute into hot oil until golden brown. Served as a kudzu po' boy, their final resting place being a casket of French bread flown in from Louisiana's famous Gambinos. Captain Lee uses his signature remoulade sauce to actually sign his name on each po' boy, a signature of his approval. Sit back and relax while enjoying a cold craft beer at Kudzu Seafood Company, located at 473rd Street in Macon. Stay coastal, my friends.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint, and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites, you'll say, "Oh my, what a pizza pie!" Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
And welcome back on a Thursday night. We are live from Zoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. I'm Russell Deese. We want to thank Coach Spoons Risper from the Westside Seminoles and Coach Paul Carroll from the Howard Huskies for coming in and joining us tonight. Don't forget the Zoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week tomorrow night is Howard and Westside. We are live from the Ed DePore Sports Complex right in West Bibb County, and pregame will start at 7:15. Kickoff will be at 7:30, and it will be a good one. Just a couple of other games that we want to touch on around the area tomorrow night. Northeast goes to Manchester, Southwest and Central. That game is at Henderson Stadium. Rutland plays at Holy Innocents. Warren County at Twiggs. Jones County has to go up to Union Grove with their undefeated record on the line. Lincoln County comes to Macon tomorrow night. They play the Tapman Square Academy Trojans. Washington Wilkes is at Stratford Academy. Hancock Central is at FPD. Big game down in the Valley tomorrow night. Houston County is at Peach. And that's going to pretty much wrap it up for what we're looking at. Oh, and Mary Persons is going to be hosting Lovett. Mary Persons off to an impressive start. 3-0. They're averaging 42 points a game. So without further ado, let's bring in the man of the hour, the proprietor of this fine pizza establishment, Charles Crowley. And we're going to talk about Alabama in just a minute. I can't get away from you guys. You're everywhere. Let's talk about last week's pick'em contest. To start with, we had a double pick'em contest. We had Windsor. We had Washington and Auburn and Mercedes-Benz for the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Classic, and then we had Notre Dame and Michigan, and we had a double pick'em contest. We did have a winner outright in the Auburn-Washington contest. That was Linton Holloman. So Linton, let me tell you what you won this week. You've won a $25 gift certificate to Kudzu Seafood. You've won a large pizza from Zoner's Pizza. You have won a $20 car wash pass to Cherry Blossom Express Car Wash. We've got them on board this week. We appreciate that very much. $25 gift certificate from Texas Border Grill, Mark Coley, Lee Clack down at Kudzu Seafood. Oh, and by the way, tomorrow night when you're watching the games, if you're out with your family, not going to the game, coming out to eat dinner at Zoner's or Kudzu or Texas Border Grill, you can watch our game live. Don't forget, if you're at home on a Friday night, you can also watch the game on our YouTube app. Just go to DSBN Sports and watch it on the big screen out on the porch or in the living room, whatever you want to do. Also, Linton, you have won, let's see, Cherry Blossom Express Car Wash hat. And how about a T-shirt? We got a nice T-shirt. We'll have some DSBN hats and T-shirts for you in about a week. That'll be courtesy of Apparel Authority. But you got to make a Touchdown Club Kickoff Classic T-shirt as well, too. So you've got about, let's see. And I forgot. You've got $10 in Moe's Bucks and about $15 in Freddy's custard and steak burgers, too. So we've loaded you up with about $90 worth of stuff for this week. But now, here's the dilemma. We got three guys that tied for the Notre Dame Michigan. And they were Brett Barron, Mike Parker, and Ed Rocker. And they all guessed the exact score, 24-17. So I have all three names here on the exact same size piece of paper. And if you will fold those individually for me, sir, one at a time. We're not going to use that nasty hat you got.
Okay, are any of these Alabama fans right here?
Let's see. A Dog, Tech Auburn. Oh, and Big Dog fan. Big Dog fan. The BB Dog, Brett Barron, don't forget. Dog Deck Live every Saturday on Facebook. You can find him on Facebook. Dog Deck Live, Brett Barron commentary before and after the game each week, live from the Dog Deck. And so Brett's name's going to go in the hat. And we're going to break this tie. Okay, so I'm going to shake these up. And you're going to draw for the winner, Michigan Notre Dame. And the winner is Brett Barron. You have won. So what do you win? Well, let's see. You're going to win. What do we got for you this week, Brett? We've got you a Cherry Blossom Express car wash hat, $20 car wash certificate, $25 to Kudzu Seafood, $25 to Texas Border Grill, Moe's, what else we got? Freddy's, Zoner's Pizza with a hand-tossed pizza right here. What else? Oh, and we got you a, how about a nice Georgia Boots t-shirt, compliments of Macon Boots Company right here in Macon. Jacob Deason donated that. And so you've got all these prizes, my man, and you'll get to pick those up for me personally. I know you're watching at home, and I know I need to get your pick on Georgia and South Carolina, but I'm sorry, brother, we just don't have the phone lines tonight, and it's been a problem, and we're going to get it straightened out one way or another. I'm going to get a loan from Mr. Crowley here, and we're going to get it straightened out. Okay, let's move on to, before we do that, I do want to take a minute, and as soon as I can find my notes here, we're going to talk about, I know we got football to talk about, so just bear with me.
Okay.
Okay, so each week in the pick'em game, you call in with the winner and the score. This week we're picking Georgia and South Carolina. You can text me your score at 478-550-0524, or you can email me your score at gridirongab@yahoo.com. However, you have to have it in by Friday at 5 o'clock. So each week, here's what we're giving away. We're giving away pizzas from Zoner Pizza. Texas Border Grill is giving gift certificate. Kudzu Seafood, Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, Moe's. Weekly giveaways from Macon Boots. We're going to have some DSBN cups and T-shirts as well from Macon Beer Company. $20 in free car wash each week passes from Cherry Blossom Express. We're going to have some various gifts from Pawn Max of Macon. As a matter of fact, Brett and Linton, I have you a Mora knife, Swiss-made knife, bushcraft knife that I'm going to throw in for the first week. And then we're going to have DSBN hats and T-shirts from Apparel Authority, and we'll get you some other prizes each week. Now, what's our grand prizes this year? You call in, you win that week, your name goes in the hat. So, Brett and Lynn, your name is in the hat for the grand prize drawing. Here's what we got so far. A free 1-year membership with VitaFuse IV therapy. 2 pair of boots are going to be given away from Macon Boots, and he does Georgia Boots, Ariat, and some other fine boot companies there as well. A free home brewing kit valued at $300 to $400 from Macon Beer Company with lessons from the master brewer. We have a Big Green Egg smoker from Cherokee Brick and Tile. That's about an $800 value. Let's see. Pawn Max Incorporated. How about an ATI 12-gauge, 18-inch home defense shotgun from Pawn Max Incorporated? They're going to give one of those away. No, I'm wrong. How about 2 ATI 12-gauge pump shotguns, home defense, they're going to give away? Wait a minute, am I done yet? Now, they're also going to throw in an AR-15 rifle, a 223-556 rifle you're going to have a chance to win. And then let's see what else we got. Oh, how about a signed football that I personally got 3 weeks ago from Nick Chubb, an embroidered Georgia football signed by Nick Chubb. Pretty good, but I got a better one for you. How about a signed Herschel Walker football? We're going to throw one of those in, too, in the grand prize. So we got some great prizes, and so far, Linton Holloman and Brett Barron have got the lead on the Pick'em contest. As we said, this week is Georgia and South Carolina, but we're not done yet. We got an Alabama guy that went the extra mile, and he's about to tell you what else he got for you that you got a chance to win here at Zoner's Pizza. So, Charles, take it away before we get ready to talk about college football.
Well, I was going to bring the jersey up here today, but I forgot to. But it's a Georgia jersey, Herschel Walker, with his signature on it. And from now until November 1st, come and dine in or do it to go. fill it out, and we're going to do a drawing on November 1st, and somebody's going to win the signed jersey.
Boy, you talk about prizes, guys. Think about that now. Big Green Eggs, home beer kit, Herschel Walker memorabilia, Nick Chubb memorabilia. We got it. Shotguns, AR-15, boots. We got everything your redneck ass wants right here. Whatever you want, we got it. But we're going to give away some great prizes this year. All right. So we got the prizes in the book for the first week. We got Georgia and South Carolina this week. I've got about 50 or 60 guys already picked so far. So let's take a look back last week. Look around the nation. Look around. Let's talk a little bit, first of all, about, obviously, the SEC. They went 13-1 last week. I don't think you can get much better than that.
Look very good.
As a conference.
Yes. Look very, very good. Of course, the Auburn got the big win against, number 6. Wasn't much of a game against Louisville for Alabama. Mm-hmm. LSU got a huge win against Miami.
Yeah, and I think they made the biggest jump in the polls from 25 to I think they went to number 11. 11, yeah.
So I think that was deserved, and maybe Miami was a little bit overranked.
Possibly.
Yeah. So, but then they get 2 weeks off, and then they got to face.
Who are you talking about? Miami?
Auburn.
Oh, no, LSU.
LSU.
Yeah, next weekend in Auburn. And I'm not sure if that'll be the CBS game or a night game, one of the two.
I'm going to be interested to see it.
LSU with a big win. You and I talked about this week. I was really impressed. I didn't get to see a lot of the SEC East. And, we're going to talk about Georgia in a minute, but let's face it. It was basically a deep spring practice for them against Austin Peay. But Kirby got a chance to play a lot of guys, and we'll get to that in just a minute. I thought everybody in the SEC West looked pretty damn good this past weekend.
Yes, they did. Ole Miss looked really good.
Yep.
I think they were Texas Tech was favored to beat them.
Yeah, and we talked about this as well too. I mean, Shea Patterson leaves after all the turmoil at Ole Miss, goes to Michigan. They face Notre Dame. He throws for 327 yards, but I'm just telling you, that Michigan offense did not look prolific to me at all.
No, it did not.
And then Tamu or Tamu, however you want to pronounce it, for Ole Miss. I mean, Texas Tech and Ole Miss, for two teams, I thought they had the biggest receivers I'd seen on the field at the same time. Everybody they had was 6'2" to 6'4". They were all 200-plus pounds. They all had reach. Man, he looked good, didn't he?
Yeah. Them receivers, that's like all prototype receivers.
Oh, yeah. They all got size and speed, and they can all go get the ball. And, I mean, he can just flat sling it. And he's a big guy, too. Now, he's not as thick maybe as the guy over at Mississippi State, but he's certainly got the arm, and, he's elusive to be a big guy.
Yeah.
He's kind of built like a power forward in the NBA. Might not quite be that size, it's height-wise, but he's 6'4.5", 6'5". He's an inch.
In Ole Miss right now, they have nothing to lose.
They do not. And then Joe Moorhead got Mississippi State rolling. I thought they looked pretty good, and Jimbo Fisher, his team looked pretty good. You're not buying it, but you think that I'm thinking Texas A&M is going to give Clemson all they want Saturday night.
I hope to see that. Honestly, I'm really interested to watch that game and just see where Texas A&M is at. I know Jimbo Fisher is a good coach, and you give him a couple recruiting years, and Texas A&M is going to be dangerous.
Well, for $90 million, you do what a guy's got to do. I mean, it's a tough life, but somebody's got to do it.
Exactly.
Right? They won't give him much of a string over there. Okay, let's talk about some other guys that – let's jump out of the SEC for just a second. Is Jim Harbaugh in a little bit of trouble at Michigan? And is Tom Herman, for the second time in 2 years, has lost to Maryland. I mean, if you're the Texas faithful over there, you're paying this guy, Jimbo Fisher, saving money, Fisher saving money, and you lose to Maryland 2 years in a row.
Yeah, and I mean, if you –
And you're Texas.
Yeah. It's not looking good for him. I don't know if they're going to start rumbling yet, but, this is his, second season?
Start of his second season.
Normally, you don't hear them rumbles till about the third season. As far as Jim Harbaugh, what he's done at Michigan, and you really haven't heard no rumbles about it, is really surprising to me.
And just gave him a big contract at the end of last year, too.
Yeah. They were saying, okay, you got one of the best defenses in the country, and now you got a quarterback to go with it. Big things are coming, but you lose to Notre Dame, and the offense did not look that good.
They didn't look good, and the game was, pretty much a stifled 10-point lead for Notre Dame, for a 14-point lead for Notre Dame most of the game. So, I mean, the 7-point score was not indicative of how the game looked on TV to me.
Yeah.
All right. So Nick Saban comes out on Saturday. They're playing Louisville. Tua Tagovailoa, or whatever, however you pronounce his name.
Just say Tua.
Yeah, we're just going to call him Tiramisu. So Tua Tiramisu gets the starting job. We'll talk about the post-game comments for just a second, too. He comes out. He gets mad at the girl reporter. Listen, if he says that to, number one, she handled it beautifully.
She did.
It was like water on a duck's back. It didn't bother her one bit. Okay? She just went like, okay, coach, whatever. But then everybody started making a big deal, and it's a Me Too all over again. And, if it's Kirk Herbstreit, it ain't a big deal. I'm just telling you. So I thought it got a little blown out of proportion, but I don't know. The sensibilities to people now are just.
I mean, he said a lot worse to other reporters.
Yeah, I told somebody on Sunday morning that was complaining on Facebook, he shouldn't talk like a woman. Wait a minute now. If you're going to step in and we want the same access and we want to be doing everything that the men are doing, and that's great and that's fine, and she's a good reporter and she handled it well, then you got to take the edge stuff when you're around these guys just as much as you do the politeness. And once again, let me say this about the ESPN reporter. She handled it perfectly. She didn't let it get under her skin. She didn't make a big deal out of it.
No.
But then the next day, we got to talk about Miss Terry getting on to Nick, and he's got to make a phone call to apologize. He ain't doing that to Paul Feinbaum.
No.
Okay, he's not doing it.
They caught him on film, basically just giving Feinbaum the third degree.
And Feinbaum can take it. And you know what? The girl from ESPN took it. It was all the external noise. Just go away with it. Let the individuals handle it, and she handled it perfectly, I thought.
Yes.
She stood up to him, and it's like, whatever.
It was like he didn't even say it.
Almost. Yeah, and that's the way you got to be when you're a reporter.
Yeah.
I got Michael Lau and John Coatsider here. They don't listen to nobody. They listen to themselves. They know they know the answer before they ask you the question. And if you're going to run a line of BS by them, they're not going to take it. And that's just the way it goes. Right, Lau? Yeah, you did. We're going to have you over here in just a minute, too. All right, so Tua comes in and looks great. Fantastic.
I mean, I honestly think, which I've been saying it for a while, the kid is just special. You don't run across somebody like this very often. And I could very easily see him winning the Heisman.
These Nick Saban football teams that he's won 5 national championships now at Alabama. None of them had a great quarterback on them.
No.
They had a serviceable quarterback. He didn't make mistakes. He didn't turn the ball over. He didn't beat himself.
McCarron was probably the best out of the bunch.
A.J. McCarron is probably the best out of the bunch. Jalen Hurts comes in. He loses 2 football games his entire career as a starter. The national championship on the next to the last play of the game to Clemson, and he gets beat in Auburn.
Yeah.
He got pulled in the national championship. He doesn't get pulled. He probably loses that game against Georgia. Now you got this kid, and you still got the defense. You still got the great secondary. You got the great linebackers. You got the great offensive line. You've got really good running backs, and he's had some. I don't know if he's really had a great running back. He's had some really, really good college running backs. But now you got just a phenom kid a la Cam Newton at the helm that you're going to have for 3 years, including this year.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you?
That's scary.
Yeah. How do you slow this train down?
You know, he's won 5 of the last 9 national championships without a quarterback like this.
Yeah.
Now he gets a quarterback like this. he might win 2 of the next 3 or maybe 3 in the next 3.
I don't know. Okay, so here's the big question now. What do we do with Jalen Hurts?
I mean, if I was Coach Saban, I would probably try not to play the kid so he could keep his red shirt, and say, Jalen, look, if Tua gets hurt, we're going to need you.
Right.
But if I would just mop up duty, I'd give it to the third string.
Yeah, what's the kid's name that's the third string? Mark, I can't remember now. Is it Mark Wilson?
Yeah, I think it's Wilson.
Yeah. I mean, your catch-22. If you're Jalen Hurts, you don't want to go in and burn your 4 games and use them up. He's going to be done. He's going to graduate in December. He's done January, whenever the semester.
I mean, he's a great kid, and he handled the situation very well and admirably. He's a great athlete, and when he does transfer, he's going to do a lot of good for some program.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty much, I think the conversation's over now. The only question that's going to linger, obviously, is what does Tua do the rest of the year? Because Saban can't afford for the kid just to leave, because if Tua gets hurt, then, I mean, you got to have somebody to come in behind Tiramisu.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jalen's going to hang around for the year out of and you can kind of tell Coach Saban respects Jalen a lot. And
why not?
Yeah, I mean, if I was, Saban, I'd say, hey, we're going to do everything we can to make sure you get the red shirt. Everything possible.
Well, it'll be interesting. Let's look around the league this week. Mississippi State is at Kansas State. That's a 12 o'clock kickoff. Nevada is at Vandy. That's a 12 o'clock kickoff. Georgia and South Carolina is a 3:30 CBS game. Arkansas State plays at Bama at 3:30. Southern Illinois, the Salukis. If you don't know what a Saluki is, you got to go look that up. It's a long-haired dog, okay, like an Afghan hound. They play the Rebs at Ole Miss. East Tennessee State is at Tennessee. That's 4 o'clock kickoff.
Tennessee should be able to win that one.
Yeah, I think they will. They're redeeming themselves this week. Southeast Louisiana is at LSU at 7 o'clock. Wyoming is at Missouri at 7 o'clock. Alabama State is at Auburn at 7:30. Kentucky is at Florida at 7:30. That will be an interesting game to watch. I think so. It won't be the big primetime game, obviously, is Clemson at A&M. Any shockers there you see?
I'm going to give a possibility to South Carolina. I mean, I think they have the talent. They'll probably need a little bit of help, but they're also at home. So if Georgia don't come in there and play their A game, watch out.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not picking South Carolina to beat them. I'm calling it my upset alert game for this weekend. And of all the games that I look around the country at, that's it, buddy. That's the one that I think where the upset could happen at.
I'm really interested to see Texas A&M play Clemson and see where exactly Jimbo Fisher has that Texas A&M squad right now.
Okay, so yes, that is going to be interesting because they look good, but the level of competition wasn't there. All right, so quickly, let's come back and talk about how to win a Herschel Walker jersey.
Well, you just come, dine in, or do it to go when you get here.
Carry out, not delivery now. It's got to be carry out.
Just ask to fill out one of the slips, and then at November 1st, we're going to dig in there and pick a name. You get 1 entry per visit. So come in, fill the dining room up, or if you don't want to fill the dining room up, just come in and pick it up. Fill out your information on the slip, and good luck.
Good luck. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk with the man, Central Georgia, that knows more about it than anybody else. We'll be back after this timeout.
Oh my, what a pizza pie. Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily. Use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven and in between bites, you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie. Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
To be the best, you need the best in hydration and nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport IV Nutrition.
How do you say, my attorney met with me personally?
Thanks, Lester.
Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, I got the compensation I deserve?
Thanks, Lester. Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, I won my court case?
Thanks, Lester.
谢谢 Lester.
Thanks, Lester. You're a good man.
I am Lester Miller, and I will get you the compensation you deserve.
Thanks, Lester.
He ain't afraid of no one.
Hello, I'm Joy Johnson at the Cottages on Westland, inviting you to come see our spacious assisted living suites. Each suite has its own kitchenette, private bathroom, separate bedroom, and living space. We provide meals, housekeeping and laundry services, personal care assistance, and a variety of daily activities. Come by and visit us soon. You'll see why our residents feel at home and why families trust their loved ones to us at the Cottages on Westland.
Wheezing, itching, runny nose and coughing, all these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We want to be your Middle Georgia allergy team.
Macon Boots is the newest addition to Midtown Macon. With brands like Rocky, Ariete, Georgia Boots, and more, Macon Boots can help you find the boots you're looking for with unbeatable prices. Whether it's boots for work, everyday wear, or maybe boots are just your thing, we have a whole selection from America, Canada, and Australia. While you're here, make sure to check out our authentic belt buckles, handmade knives, genuine leather wallets, and much more that you can only find at Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
Crosby Roofing is more than just a roofing company. It's a family-owned company with deep roots in Middle Georgia. So when the time comes for repairs or a new roof, you can trust your family's home to our family's commitment to quality. Quality you can look up to. Crosby Roofing.
Do you want to win? Do you want to crush the competition? Do you really want it? To be the best, you need the best in nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport. VitaFuse Sport provides IV hydration, vitamins, minerals, and amino acids for serious athletes. Our infusions are nearly 100% absorbed compared to only 20% of oral supplements. So whether you are trying to win a championship, set a new personal best, or just want to perform better and recover faster, VitaFuse Sport was developed for you.
I am Lester Miller, and if you've been in an accident or hurt on the job, I want to work for you. My office is right across the street from the Bibb County Courthouse, and it doesn't end there. Middle Georgia is my home. I graduated from high school here, college, and Mercer Law School. My family goes to church here, my kids go to school here. I work hard for my community, and when you need an attorney, I will personally take your call.
Thanks, Lester.
And I will work hard for you too.
Contact Lester Miller today for your free consultation.
And welcome back on a Thursday night. We're live from Zoner's Pizza. We want to thank our guests that have been with us here tonight. Coach Risper, Coach Spoons from Westside Seminoles, Paul Carroll from the Howard Huskies. That is our Zoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week tomorrow night, live from the Ed DePore Sports Complex. 7:15 is our pregame. 7:30 is our kickoff. I want to thank John Kosader for coming in. Charles Crowley, the proprietor of this lovely pizza joint here. Don't forget, we've named all the prizes. But Charles Crowley's got the signed Herschel Walker jersey for you to win. And you have to come in and register when you dine in or you carry out. So don't forget to ask about the Herschel Walker jersey. He has the store here in Macon. He's got one in Byron on one in Robbins on Highway 96, and about to open one in Byron as well. But the Herschel Walker jersey will be right here. Well, before we go any further, we've talked about the Pick'em contest. Congratulations to Linton Holloman and Brett Barron, this week's winners, and they won all kind of goodies and prizes. And to my left now, we're going to bring in the guy that knows everything about high school football and thinks he knows a lot about college. We're going to dig into that with him, too. Michael Lau, the Central Georgia Sports Report. What's happening?
How's it going?
Good. Glad to have you.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
All right.
Thursday, best thing about Thursday is Friday's tomorrow.
So Friday is tomorrow. Okay, so your thoughts on what you've seen Macon in Middle Georgia to start the high school football season? Anything stick out to you?
It's been a little bit of a roller coaster. I mean, we got Northside's 1 and 2. Peach County got hammered by Lee County and kind of called off the dogs themselves. So that, and then Peach County had beaten Northside. Northside's in Lee County's region.
Right.
In Bibb County, it looks like it's a down year, except for I'm just, I'm a little bit on the Howard bandwagon. I really think that they're going to be
howling with the Huskies.
I'm
baby.
telling you, I think they're going to finish second in that region, and that's a good, balanced, even region, physical region.
Right.
Mary Person's doing really well, but I just think Howard has got things going really well for a program that's still in its infancy.
You've got in that region Mary Persons, Howard, West Lawrence, Spalding,
Perry, and Upson Lee.
Perry, pretty good.
Yeah.
Kind of got a heads up with them from a friend down at Peach County. Played them in a scrimmage, their last scrimmage, and starters on starters. It was a pretty close game.
And they've needed to make that jump. They've always been okay, and then they hit a wall and they collapse. And they've had so many coaches.
Yeah, that's been
the
thing.
And I had a Warner Robins basketball coach, Jamal Garman, when Kevin Smith got the job. He raved about what he thought he was going to be able to do based on his, and I heard this from a couple other different people, on his relationships. He can get kids to buy in. And now they've had decent starts before, maybe not 3-0 or 4-0, but 3-1, and then they don't do anything. But they've had to get the younger kids to play and keep playing, and keep the bodies out, so that you're learning something. So you're not reteaching sophomores and juniors stuff that you're teaching 6th and 7th and 8th graders.
One thing that's been real impressive, the kid they got down there at quarterback, he can flat sling it, King.
They got and he's a guy that's back. They haven't gone through those things where you're returning guys. And that have stayed in the system, whether it's new or old, and getting confidence. And that's a big thing with a program that is under 500, to get the confidence and to be able to do more than, keep players out, but do more than one or two things on offense and be a little more, keep their attention, keep them enthused. And I think Kevin Smith and that staff are able to do that. But, yeah, you've got to have some talent down there, and that talent's got to want to play. And they've got that right now, and you got to have some leadership.
Okay, let's go a little east and south of Macon here. Let's talk about Veterans, Hoko, and Warner Robins. We've touched on Northside a little bit of a struggle to start the year for them. What about the other big three down there?
Houston County, I don't know, because they've been playing smaller schools, which is a smart thing for them to reestablish themselves a little bit and see if they can keep some people in their zone and on their team.
Sure.
I think Veterans is going to be interesting. They're a lot like Howard, a young program that's needed to get some things going and get some consistency. And
quarterback's playing well.
Yeah, they've got a couple different people playing well, and they're playing well on both sides of the ball. They probably should have beat. They took care of business against Bleckley County. They were given turnovers, and they did something with it, which is big. They coughed it up against Baldwin and gave up 23 points away from defense. So their defense deserved a better result than 38-30.
Right.
So that shows that they can win games that maybe they shouldn't win, which for a young program in transition is big.
Right.
Warner Robins, I'm now starting to look at that. Warner Robins Northside is going to be even bigger than it usually is. And now you're looking at, Warner Robins Veterans is going to be pretty interesting, because if Veterans goes in there with some confidence, and we'll see about Warner Robins, they had that great win against Tift, see what they can sustain. That's going to be a bigger game than we'd have thought.
So this is your 6 for Veterans, is that right, or 7?
8, I think.
8,
2010.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember how long Coach Bruce was down there.
Yeah. And sometimes, and they got a great, if you're going to let somebody go and you can really make a step up like that and get a championship coach.
Right.
Mylan Turner's one of the guys on your list.
Okay, let's go further to the east. Let's talk about the Jones County Greyhounds. Hunter Koslow, their quarterback, man, over 300 yards a game average throwing the football. Had a great game against Howard. They pulled out a 6-point win in that game.
Pulled it out is right.
Right, but they still the passes he completed in that game to help Jones County get that victory out What are the Greyhounds doing this year? It's like Justin Rogers.
Yeah. Well, he's the
dynamo.
He's the guy, and that program is legitimately progressing to where he wants it to be. He wants it to be a state program, and really, it is. I mean, they've been ranked. Out of after that first month, his first month there, I'd have to go back and see how many weeks in a row or weeks they've been ranked out of the number of weeks he's been there. Yeah. It's been a lot. It's been more in 4 years than it's been the last 40
since he walked in the door.
Yeah, and what impressed me is they've accelerated. I thought that they would be to this point, and maybe we'll see again later in the season, about mid-season. But they've accelerated from the Howard game. I think they learned a lot. That they can't, you can't dig a hole. They were allowed to win that game because 3rd and 19 for a touchdown, 3rd and 15 for a touchdown. That doesn't happen.
Right.
So, by all accounts, Howard won that game. Howard just kind of deserved to win that game, but they didn't. So Jones County can build on that, and that Jones County is going to get better. And they are to that point where they're not going to overlook people. They're not really going to take a day off. They may play not that well, but yeah, Costello's been really impressive for a guy that stepped in the end of the season last year. And he just was calm. He's just, he's not as attention-getting as a lot of quarterbacks, but he's just going to get it done. That's pretty clear.
Yeah, and Mary Persons, they're rolling on. They've got a little test against Lubbock coming in. Is Lubbock 2-1 or 1-2?
I think they're 2-1.
2-1. Okay.
And I think that's probably going to be a better test than the bigger schools that they played.
Right.
But they're on a
42 points a game. I mean, Coach Nelson's got to be resting his starters by locker room time.
Yeah, that's the thing about games like that is
because it's 36-42 to nothing at half.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing is that first game that's a 4-quarter game is usually a little interesting, but they're not really going to have that. Well, Peach County is coming up in a couple weeks. That'll be their real, and that's a great region test for them.
Right. When you look at these high school teams, and you can stretch this out to other levels of football. My theory has always been I have a theory that I don't know how well that helps you get in once you get into region play in the playoffs. Your starters are only playing a half. What happens to them when they have to go forward against better competition?
Mary Persons will be playing 4-quarter region games
they're
playing now. They're going to be so that Peach County game sets up right. I'm not sure who they have next week, and this week should probably be a decent game.
Right.
For a while,
They'll go a little longer with them this week.
But I've also believed go ahead and play get your backups in earlier, and then so you can play your starters a little bit more later.
Right.
Mix that in because I'm a big believer in you got to play people when you can as much as you can because it's not your first 22 that wins for you; it's your second 22 because it's your backups. It's when somebody gets hurt.
Right.
I want players who can play to play in the first half when it's still a game, just to get used to that because you know what, you're one stepping off the bus wrong away from starting. You're one turf monster ACL away from starting. So I want people that can, but yeah, the 4th quarter, that's going to be a big thing, and Peach County will get them set for that. It'll still be pretty warm, and that's going to be, and that'll be a physical game, and that's a physical region. So Mary Persons will get that test, and they're all conditioned. It's still that it is still the Friday night conditioning rather than Thursday.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump ahead. Tomorrow night, Westside and Howard. Big public school Bibb County game, probably as big a one as we've had in a while.
I made the West Side bulletin board picking Howard to win by 20.
Yeah, you did.
And I think it is because it's it's the program that's kind of been around for a while, and now what may be not a passing of the torch, but one that's establishing themselves as a decent program. And again, you still got to do it. They still got to finish the season. They still got to have a winning record, and they have to build on what they achieved last year, and I think they will. But let's hope for a good crowd. I think Howard seems to be drawn pretty well. They have pretty good student support. West Side's got to see that and kind of start answering that because I don't think anybody's going to argue the West Side's general support is probably not what it should be for a program that has the record that they have.
No, I'll agree with that. They've been highly successful since they established the school over there. First with Robert Davis and then with Coach Risper. To Westside Howard, where do you see the game turning on? Is it Howard going to be able to pound the football with that wing T, or is it? Or is Westside maybe going to make some mistakes that are going to help them, or a little of both?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both because Westside just has not tightened up. They keep making mistakes. I talked to Spoon yesterday, and they had pick 6 called back in the game. They had a interception return to the 3 called back. They didn't get points out of either drive. You can't do that. They were so sloppy against Southwest. They escaped against Harris County in overtime, and they probably should have won a game that they lost against Perry.
Right.
So you can't do that consistently, and it bit them against Perry, and I think Howard's better than Perry. I think they're bigger a little bit, and they're fast. I tell you, they got some speed. They got some speed on both sides, and that's what speed makes up for some mistakes. It can't make up for the illegal block that you get called for 30 yards away from the ball.
No.
But it can later on, and I think that's what, to me, is what it's going to end up being, is a little bit of the pounding that Howard's going to be able to give, and I think that I think they have the size to clog it up a little bit in the middle to slow down Freeman, the big running back, who's got him some speed too. He's running downhill.
Big boy can run.
He gets some momentum going, and you got to hop on and hope you get some help. But I think that's going to be. I think it's going to be up front, and I think Howard's going to be a little bit stronger up front and be able to clog things up on defense and make them have to do more on offense to get going.
All right, we're going to take a break. Then we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little college football about the last 10 minutes of the show. You're listening to Gridiron Gab. We're live at Zoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. Don't forget our pick'em contest this week. The Dogs and the Cocks. Pick the winner and the score, but don't go over on the winner side. We'll be back after this timeout.
Wheezing, itching, runny nose, and coughing. All these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We've teamed with Mercer, and we'd be happy to team with you. Go Bears!
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily. Use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites, you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
And welcome back to Zoner's Pizza on a Thursday night. It's Gridiron Gab with Michael Lau from the Central Georgia Sports Report. We got Coach Daniel Dukes from Howard. Just walked in. He was our guest last week. Asked him if they were ready for those Seminoles tomorrow night, and he says, I ain't got to play. They got to play. So I guess he's ready for them to play. All right, so we've talked about high school football. Impressions of college football last Saturday that stood out to you on opening weekend?
Well, I didn't see as much as I'd like to have, just kind of catching up on high school stuff. You have the guarantee games, and most of them got out of it what you want to. You want to play people. You want to get the younger guys reps without, the pressure of playing an SEC game or an SEC light game and all that. I think it's a little bit warmer in Ann Arbor, Michigan than it usually is about this time of year, and I'm ready for that experiment to be over. I'm just tired. It's a lot of talk for not.
A lot of money too. I mean, Shea Patterson came in through for 327, but were you impressed? I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, there's something that's not there, and I don't know what it is. But not everything is always a great fit. I really don't care if a guy went to my college, if he's going to win and if he's the right guy. People put way too much emphasis on the geography of somebody's background,
right?
Than the right fit. There are a lot of alumni that aren't the right fit, and there are a lot of people in state that aren't the right fit at the state school.
What's confusing with me though with him is what he did at Stanford, what he did in the NFL. I thought the 49ers were crazy to let him get out of there. I thought the guy was going to win a Super Bowl there. Then he comes back to Michigan year 4, and I don't see a lot of improvement.
There's not many steps forward from the Brady Hoke era.
And the defense probably didn't look as good this year. Now, I don't know how good a team is Notre Dame this year.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know until November.
Yeah,
with them,
they got the Akron Zips left, and I know they got USC this year.
I think so. And they're in their ACC type schedule, but you can't really tell on them, and that's another odd fit. Brian Kelly's when they struggle, his name gets on the hot seat.
Right.
And I don't think that they've quite gotten their money's worth that they think out of him. But that's all. It's just it's I can't put too much into it until people play better teams.
Right.
And then even then, it's still a couple more weeks away. October is when it's like the All-Star game. The All-Star game is when you start paying attention to baseball. Mm-hmm. October is when you really start getting an idea what people are, because people are making position changes, people are injured. The schedule gets different. As the conferences have changed. You got money games. People change their schedules every so often, and I think I like these early big games. Like Georgia, South Carolina.
Georgia, South Carolina next weekend. Auburn, LSU. What do you think of LSU and Miami?
That was a weird game because Miami really didn't. They looked as bad as the scores showed, but the stats were different.
Right.
So that's kind of a thing. It's in LSU. It's the jury still might be out on them too. It's got to be more than one game. One game is nice, but one game is a fluke until you prove otherwise. And LSU is in a fluke stage because they're in a little muddy area with Orgeron, and is he going to make it? Is he not going to make it? They have a new quarterback who did well overall game management wise. His numbers weren't fantastic, but you don't need it. You got to win the game. You got to win the game, and you got to win the game going away, and that's what he did.
Yeah, and I thought they physically looked better than Miami. How about Florida State and Virginia Tech? Am I wrong? I looked at Virginia Tech. I just felt like they were the bigger, faster, stronger football team that night.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have expected it to show that much at Tallahassee.
Right.
Because you play a little bit bigger, stronger, faster at home.
Right.
Even if you don't play smarter or better.
Right.
And there was a much different. I think there's a lot of seats on the Willie Taggart bandwagon that opened up because it was full up pretty good going in.
Yeah, they were confusing to me on offense at times. It was almost like they had problems managing the game, and they had problems managing their offense. They couldn't get plays in. Sometimes when they snapped the ball, they were out of place. I was a little confused at why they didn't look like they were ready for game one to me.
It was a little more of a transition than you would have expected for a veteran staff that's been around.
Right.
It's not.
And
that
I think
wasn't a young guy.
That
wasn't somebody jumping up from a mid-major school and taking over. That was somebody that's been around, and you're bringing back a quarterback. So even though he's hurt, he's still the starting quarterback. So you would have expected a little smoother game management. And then that aside, if you get beat, you get beat.
Yeah.
You can overcome those things by playing better physically. Mental can overcome physical, and physical can overcome mental. But when you have a little bit of both, then you're going to get
And they had
humbled.
both. They had both.
Yeah.
Even Beamer ball showed its ugly head with a block punt for a touchdown.
It always does.
Well, and the two ugliest uniforms that God ever created was last Saturday night in that game. It was awful.
It's leading the parade for this year.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because it's really just every year there's some butt-ugly uniforms that people are just, on medication when they just decide to go ahead and bring them out.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's, hey, we're a big tennis shoe company. Here's a check for this game for $250,000 and wear this. No, I'm not wearing that. No. But if you want the check, you got to do it. Yeah. Auburn, Washington. Thoughts? How good is Washington? How good is Auburn? Is Washington really a 5th or 6th ranked team? I question that.
But that's one where you got to wait until they play somebody else because they came in both highly ranked, and you got a highly ranked game, a very even game.
Yeah, I thought it was good for Gus. He kind of got a monkey off his back. Last two trips to the Dome were, to say the least, not the prettiest things to watch.
A good start against a good team is a good start.
Yeah, and, if LSU I don't know who they've got this week. Are they off this week? No, they've got Southeast Louisiana. Yeah. So is that the Raging Cajuns?
No, that's the Lions.
The Lions, okay. I can't keep up with them. It's better than being a Saluki, though.
Yeah, it's better weather, too.
Okay, so Auburn's got LSU a couple of weeks.
And that's always Auburn LSU is just one of those cluster series. You never know what the hell's going to happen with, no matter when they play or where they play.
Well, historically, when Auburn goes to LSU, they find a way to lose. That's historically since they've been playing that series. But it's always been crazy in Auburn. Georgia, could you take away much from that game last weekend for Georgia? It's just hard to do it.
Yeah, it is. It's the bottom line is you want to get players some game time action.
Yeah, they got it.
And especially once once you lose your running back for targeting, you want to get somebody else in there, get used to that, and just
so they'll lose him
reps.
for the first half of this game.
Yeah.
All right, so they go to Columbia this weekend. What do you think about this game? I mean, where do you see this game?
South Carolina is still, and they're still a program that can't, sustain anything successfly for a long period of time. So Muschamp and Kirby are cut from the same cloth.
Right.
Muschamp's a little loopier.
Right.
They got a really good quarterback. That's going to be a thing.
He's starting to recruit a little bit.
Yeah, well, yeah, and they got some people back. They had a better year last year.
Right.
So they've both teams are better, but I don't know how much better Georgia could get. South Carolina could get a lot better. Remember, that was only a 14-point game last year, and South Carolina kind of coughed it up a little bit, if I recall.
Right.
They had chances to make that a down to the final series game.
Right.
And didn't do it. So.
Well, they couldn't get Georgia's offense off the field on third down either.
Yeah, and so you got to make those plays and make it. You're at home. It's going to be, I love 3:30 games, but boy, there's nothing like a good night game. But 3:30 is the marquee game, and that should be. I'll be stunned if that's not a marquee, if it doesn't live up to it, because it's going to be rocking, it's going to be hot, it's going to be great early September football, and South Carolina, they're a little bit more of an unknown than Georgia is, which makes it interesting if you don't have to scout them. But they have a lot. They got good receivers, they got a lot of people back, and they're going to have a level of confidence. They took care of business like they needed to, which South Carolina doesn't always do with those regional, money games.
Sure.
So they're going to come in there, playing on their toes. It'll be a slobber knocker.
They can run the football better this year than they could last year. The defense, I believe, will be better. Is it a stellar defense? No. But I think Muschamp can coach a defense, and I think they will be better. They'll have to be heads up in the secondary.
Yeah, you got to play. It's almost like just play base. Don't make the great play. Just don't try to make the great play and screw up.
Debo Samuel, a difference maker in this game for South Carolina.
He is if he can take advantage of Georgia's secondary.
Right.
And Georgia's not 100% healthy back there, and even if like Tyreek McGee from Peach County is back, he's still not going to be 100%, and he's not going to be able to play the positions he's usually going to play. So they're a little bit limited there, and but how many? But it's the other guys. It's not Samuel per se. It's when he's a decoy and he makes a play here. What do the other guys do? Because you can always. It's the Julio Jones effect. I can stop Julio, but the other guy's got to make plays, or else that doesn't matter.
Right.
And if they have other guys that make plays, and again on defense, if they don't give up those killer little momentum plays, the drive sustainers, make a team beat you. Don't beat yourself. And if they don't beat themselves early, because once Georgia gets up, I don't foresee them beating themselves and giving the lead back.
No, if they get the lead in this game, I think it could get ugly.
I don't know if it could get ugly. It could get somewhat unattractive.
Yeah. Okay. 40, 45, 20, 40.
It could be it could be like 2 touchdowns. I don't think is a lot.
Right.
It's 2 plays really.
Right.
But if you're outgained 500 to 100, then it's really not 2 plays.
Right.
But yeah, I could see it if it gets that way. It could be a 3-touchdown game, something like that. But it would be late. It's just how long does South Carolina, avoid those dumb mistakes?
Is Georgia's depth probably going to wear them out in along the line of scrimmage in the late in the third, fourth, maybe?
Well, but that depends on the first half.
Right.
Because South Carolina can keep the ball and keep the defense on the field and force them to be conditioned.
Okay, Swami, pull your crystal ball out and give me a score in that one.
28-19 Georgia.
That's a good game. I think that's right. Clemson and South Carolina and Texas A&M. I'm telling you, A&M's going to
what's
give
the line?
I don't know. 9? No.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know. No. They ain't got hairs on the old
car salesman who doesn't gamble. Are you kidding me?
It's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Jeez, you just didn't bet on that game. That's why you don't know.
I wouldn't touch that one with a 10-foot pole.
I don't know.
Clemson 9.5.
I'm just not a big sold on. I'm not a big.
Come on, man, you gotta help.
I'm not a big Jimbo Fisher
fan.
And it should be a good game.
Atmosphere, 110,000.
That's a 7-point swing right there. A little bit more for A&M than a lot of home places, and it's a long travel game. You're probably not going to have a huge Clemson following, even with 110,000 seats. Mm-hmm. That's a long way to go. And you got other good games you want to save your money for later in the year, and that's a long way to go to sweat your ass off when you can do that at home for a lot cheaper. And I think Clemson. Clemson will win, but yeah, it should be a good game. I wouldn't. Hey, for the $75 million for Jimbo and for the $750 million to rebuild that stadium, it better be a damn good game for a while.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Alabama's fixing to put $600 million in Denny Bryant. They just redid it 10 years ago, maybe.
Denny Bryant, you said that backwards, just pissed people off, didn't you?
Bryant Denny.
Yeah. Right down the road there from here, Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we could always go to Jordan Hare North up in Athens. So any other thing worth watching this weekend? How about Kentucky and Florida? Benny Hill?
Benny Hill.
The running back.
I thought you were talking about the British comedian.
Yeah, no.
I think that, I don't know. I don't know what Florida is. They probably did better in their first game than for having 9 people suspended.
Again.
That's kind of they have 2 lines. There's the line on Monday when everybody's there, and there's a line on Thursday when whoever's coming back or is
whatever
gone.
happened Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Whatever came out Wednesday night. Anybody? Who's the team that's going to challenge Georgia in the East this year? Is it the team we're going to watch Saturday night?
I think that's one of them, and I don't think it's going to be this year per se. And I'm not a Jeremy Pruitt fan by any stretch, but I think they're going to be better than people think. Because you know what, Butch Jones didn't leave them without talent. They have talent. Everybody in the world wanted Marquez Callaway from Warner Robins. He's there,
talented,
and he's staying there, and he's making plays.
Right.
So they have.
And he's a sophomore,
junior, I think. So they're going to be able to do some things. It's whatever players they lost if they replaced them, and get a little confidence. That's one thing they're going to need. They need a decent. You don't always need to win. You need to play a winning game.
To me, he is one guy that is truly you're not gonna know a lot about him until year 3 on Pruitt.
Yeah.
Because I still think he's got some building.
If he makes it through year 3, because he doesn't stay anywhere for very long.
Well, they've got athletes at Tennessee, but they don't have the right athletes in the right position.
And they were confusing to watch.
Yeah.
And that's really all you do. You don't have to be brilliant to get them going. You just have to be kind of calm and stable and simple.
Okay.
And let them just play. Don't try to overdo it. Let them play and get their feet under them and get some confidence. And I think they're going to be, by the time Georgia plays them, they ain't going to be 41-0. I guarantee you that.
All right. Will Greer looked pretty good for West Virginia. Still, the rest of it's not there. I don't think. I think they're good offensively. I don't think they're an SEC caliber football team though.
Well, they're mid-level or better. I mean,
mid-level, okay.
I mean, they're, which is a lot of good teams. Because by the time you go down the list, if you're the 5th best team in the SEC, you're pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, Tua and Jalen Hurts. Quick thoughts on that. Tua, we know the guy's a phenom. So far.
Yeah.
So
again,
far.
Again, 1.5 games.
What? I got it.
He's got 1.5 more full games of experience than you and I do.
I got that. I understand that. But what I've seen is just, I mean, how do you do? I mean, it's surpassing kind of the Johnny Manziel mystique.
Oh, yeah. He's already have legendary status. Like Jalen Hurts kind of was in going 26-2 or 28-2 as a starter.
So what happens to Hurts? What does he do?
Man, I tell you.
What does he do?
If I'm him, I mean, you have to wait and see, go through the 4 games, and then I think you just then after 4 games and you decide, am I going to stay and see what happens, or am I just be done and transfer and just get and leave then? But he's such a good kid, and he's such a good teammate, and he's such a good club. I mean, it's hard to, you can't argue if he leaves because he wants to play,
right?
And he deserves to play,
right?
But he's such a great teammate that they're still better even if he doesn't play.
Oh no, I agree with that.
The thing is you're one missed left tackle block or right tackle block from a whiplash hit that knocks you out for a while.
And the way Tua contorts himself and runs around and spins and
there's a good
one
chance
297-pound defensive end,
or again a turf monster. You don't have to do anything to tear an ACL.
Do it to yourself.
I mean, you can do it running down the field on a kickoff like Will Weatherspoon, I think, at Georgia did about 15 years ago, or one of the Baileys.
I'll give you a good example.
You
real
don't have to do
simple.
anything.
My daughter, 3-year starter soccer, cooling down, walking, turns.
Oh yeah.
Foot sticks in the turf, complete tail of her left ACL.
Yeah.
Didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
Was walking and did it.
Yeah.
So.
And but he has what, this year and a year left.
Yeah.
Doesn't he?
Who?
Hurts.
No, if he does not burn his 4
right.
years up, he graduates in December, January, whenever the semester ends.
Yeah. So he has this year and one more year.
He has 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So boy, that's hard. That'd be hard to sit or wait if you can go and be eligible somewhere right away.
Okay, so tomorrow night, where are you prowling the sidelines at? What are you going to be?
I think I'm going to watch a little Seminoles and Huskies. I think it's going to be I want to see a little bit more of both of them. I want to see them both playing better than, Howard played pretty well against Jones County. I want to see Westside play better, against a better team, and see what they do and get an idea of what they're going to be like. Are they going to, is that gap? Are they going to be better? Are they going to be good enough and improved enough? Is that gap closed with Peach County a little bit? Because Peach County for beating Northside, I think that was a little bit of a surprise.
Right.
And they're going to beat Houston County, I think, kind of handily. But if Houston County gets off to a good start, Peach County doesn't get beat 33-0.
No.
They don't get beat, that bad. And Lee County's Lee County, but Peach County's Peach County.
Right.
And if they, I'm anxious to see what happens in that game a little bit. If Houston County can bow up, and if Peach County is a little flat because they know that they should hammer them, what's going to happen?
All right. Thank you, brother. See you tomorrow night.
No problem. I'll be there.
All right. That's going to do it from here. We're going to wrap it up from Zoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. I want to thank our guest, Michael Lau from the Central Georgia Sports Report. I want to thank John Kosader for visiting with us, Coach Paul Carroll from the Howard Huskies, and Coach Spoons from Westside. Zoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week tomorrow night, 7:15 pregame, 7:30 kickoff, live from the Ed DeFore Sports Complex. That's going to do it. Don't forget, get your picks in. Georgia, South Carolina, got to have them in Friday by 5 o'clock. Until that, we'll see you tomorrow night. We'll see you next week right here at Zoner's Pizza. That's going to do it, folks. Our time is up. We thank you for yours.